What happened in this courtroom left everyone frozen, including the judge. In a silent courtroom packed with reporters, attorneys, and nervous spectators, no one expected a little girl in a pink dress to become the center of the most shocking moment in the judge's career. She seemed fragile, barely old enough to understand why she was there. Then the little girl did something no one expected. She gave the dog a tiny, secret signal, barely visible to the human eye. But the dog saw it instantly. Rex, the massive German shepherd sitting beside her, lifted his head the moment the girl's hand moved. His ears shot up. His posture shifted. Then Rex growled, a deep chumaling sound that made the entire room jolt. And just seconds later, before anyone could understand what was happening, the judge slammed his gavel and shouted, "Stop the proceedings!" The attorneys froze. People whispered. What did the little girl signal? What did the dog sense? And why did the judge shut down the entire court? What secret had the girl just revealed without saying a single word? What happened in the next 60 seconds forced the judge to stop the entire trial and exposed a truth no one was prepared to hear. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. The entrance. The heavy wooden doors of Courtroom 3C creaked open. Rows of spectators turned their heads, expecting another attorney. Instead, they saw something far more unusual. A little girl in a pink dress, no older than 6, nervously clutching a stuffed bunny. But it wasn't the girl who left the room, stunned. It was who walked beside her. A massive German shepherd wearing a crisp police canine vest matched her tiny steps with calm, steady precision. His amber eyes scanned every face, calculating, judging, protecting. Even Judge Harrington, rarely fazed by anything, raised an eyebrow. The bailiff stepped forward as if to intervene, then hesitated. "He's authorized, Your Honor," the officer said quietly. "She doesn't go anywhere without him." The girl climbed into the witness seat with awkward movements. Her legs dangled above the floor. She smoothed her dress with trembling hands, while the dog sat right beside her chair, posture straight, alert but gentle, almost fatherly. A hush fell over the room. Judge Harrington cleared his throat. "State your name, sweetheart." She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Her small fingers twisted the fabric of her dress anxiously. The dog noticed, his ears tilted, his head lowered toward her gently. The judge watched closely. Something unspoken was tightening the atmosphere. This quiet moment was the beginning of a courtroom scene the judge would never forget. The bond. Rex wasn't just any canine. He was one of the department's most trusted service dogs, known for his uncanny ability to read human emotion, especially fear. But the most remarkable story was how Rex had bonded with the little girl months earlier. It happened on a night no one wanted to remember, when sirens echoed through the neighborhood and officers raced toward a house lit by red and blue flashes. The girl had been found hiding in a closet, her tiny hands covering her ears, trembling so hard she couldn't speak. No adult could calm her, no officer could get close. But Rex walked straight to her, lowered himself to the floor, and gently nudged her hand with his nose. The shaking stopped. The child leaned into his fur. For the first time that night, she breathed normally. Since that moment, something unexplainable existed between them, a silent language. The department officially assigned Rex to her case. Wherever she went, he went. Whenever she panicked, he sensed it. Whenever she couldn't speak, he understood. The fear. Attorney Miller approached gently. "Sweetheart, can you tell us what happened that night?" The courtroom leaned forward, but the girl's silence pressed down like thick fog. Her throat worked, trying to form words. No sound came out. Rex noticed the rise in her heartbeat. His ears perked sharply. His gaze swept the courtroom. Miller tried again. "Do you remember who you saw that night?" Her breathing sped up. Her fingers gripped the chair. Rex's head snapped left, toward a man in the gallery he had stared at earlier. A low vibration formed in his chest. Miller continued. "Was someone there? Someone who scared you?" The girl whispered a single word, so soft half the courtroom didn't hear it. "Him." She didn't point. She didn't move. She just glanced for half a second in the man's direction. But to Rex, it was enough. His muscles tensed. Every instinct shifted. Something dangerous was sitting in that courtroom. And Rex wasn't going to let it get any closer. The signal. The girl wasn't looking at the judge anymore. She wasn't looking at the attorneys. Her trembling gaze was fixed entirely on Rex. Her heart hammered so loudly she felt it echo inside her ears. She squeezed her stuffed bunny, trying to breathe, trying to speak. And then she did something no one expected. She moved her hand, just a tiny movement, barely visible. Her small fingers curled into her dress and pulled it gently. A soft tug, quick, quiet, almost invisible. Almost. Rex saw it instantly. Officer Daniel's breath caught. He knew that signal. It was something taught only in the rarest emergency cases, a silent distress cue for vulnerable victims, a signal that meant, "I'm scared, I'm not safe, help me." Rex reacted immediately. He rose from his seated position, muscles coiling like a compressed spring. His tail stiffened, his ears locked forward. The judge's voice cracked the silence. "Officer Daniels, what's happening?" Daniel swallowed hard. "Your Honor, that was a distress signal. The girl just signaled the dog for protection." A nervous murmur swept through the courtroom. The man in the gallery shifted uncomfortably, breath shallow, hands gripping his seat. Rex shot a piercing look at him, so sharp, so deliberate, the man flinched as though burned. The girl tugged her dress again, smaller but just as desperate. Tears welled in her eyes. She trusted Rex to speak for her. Rex stepped forward, planting himself between the girl and the gallery. His growl grew louder, no longer a warning, but a declaration. Attorney Miller whispered urgently, "Your Honor, the dog is positively identifying a threat. He's trained for this. He wouldn't react unless the girl felt endangered." Judge Harrington didn't doubt it. "Little one," he said gently, "did someone here hurt you?" She didn't answer. She didn't have to. Her tiny hand tugged once more, harder, firmer. Rex lunged a half-step forward, body arched protectively, placing himself firmly between danger and the child. The courtroom erupted in gasps. The judge slammed his gavel. "Everyone remain seated." Rex's deep, thunderous growl filled the room. The silent signal had been given, and the dog had answered. The truth erupts. Rex's reaction was sudden, so fast, so precise, that half the courtroom gasped. He surged forward a full step, planting himself between her and the man in the gallery. His growl deepened, chest vibrating like a warning drum. The man froze, shoulders stiff, eyes darting around the room. Beads of sweat formed along his temples. "Is this dog crazy or what?" he snapped, voice cracking. "He is not crazy," Officer Daniels replied sharply. "He is reacting to a danger signal from the child, and he is rarely wrong." Judge Harrington slammed his gavel. "Sir, stand up." "Why, I didn't do anything," Rex barked, a single explosive sound that echoed like a gunshot. The bailiff drew closer, hand hovering near his cuffs. Daniel's voice turned urgent. "Your Honor, Rex is indicating high-level threat behavior." Judge Harrington's expression hardened. "Bailiff, move closer to that man." The man stood abruptly, knocking over the bench. "Don't come near me," he shouted, eyes wild. Rex barked again, short, sharp, precise. The girl gasped. "Rex?" she whispered, as if trying to hold him back. But Rex knew. He had sensed the truth long before anyone else. The judge rose from his bench. "Bailiff, secure him immediately." Chaos erupted. Officers moved. The man stumbled backward. Through it all, Rex remained fixed, a living barrier between innocence and danger. The revelation. Within seconds, an officer returned breathless. "Your Honor, we pulled his ID. That's not Tom Larson." The judge's heartbeat kicked up. "Then who is he?" The officer handed over a folder. The judge flipped it open, expression darkening. "He has a record, a violent one, multiple assault charges, restraining orders." He froze at the last page. He was seen near the girl's neighborhood the night of the incident, picked up on a traffic camera. The man's face drained of color. The mother gasped. "Oh, God." Attorney Miller stepped forward. "Your Honor, that places him at the scene." The girl whimpered, voice tiny but clear. He told me not to tell." Every officer turned toward her. Her mother broke into quiet sobs. "He said he'd hurt Mommy if I did," she whispered, using Rex's fur as a barrier. Rex shifted, positioning himself even more firmly between her and the man. The judge's voice turned to steel. "Take him into full custody now. Reopen the investigation immediately." The man panicked, thrashing. "She's lying." But no one listened. Not after the girl spoke. Not after Rex confirmed it. Not after the evidence revealed the truth. Judge Harrington stepped down from the bench and approached slowly. "Sweetheart," he said softly, "you're safe now. No one is going to hurt you." The girl clung to Rex. "He said he'd come back." Her mother sobbed. "Oh my God." Miller knelt nearby. "Can you tell us what happened that night?" The girl lifted her tear-filled eyes toward Rex. The dog stared back with quiet strength. For the first time, she spoke more than a whisper. "He came into my room. I heard the door creak. He told me to stay quiet. He grabbed my arm. He said if I screamed, he'd hurt Mommy." Tears streamed down her cheeks. Rex pressed his head under her arm. "I tried to run. I tried to hide. He pulled me back. He said he'd come back for me if I ever talked." Miller's eyes glistened. "And Rex, he found you, didn't he?" She nodded. "He came when the police came. I was hiding in the closet. Rex found me. He sat with me until the sun came up. He didn't move, not even once." The judge exhaled, visibly shaken. This child's statement is enough to reopen everything. The girl wiped her tears. "Can he stay with me?" Judge Harrington didn't hesitate. "He won't leave your side, not for a moment." Rex nudged her again, sealing the promise. For the first time since the nightmare began, the truth was finally in the open, because a brave little girl found her voice, and a loyal dog refused to let her face her fear alone. Some heroes don't wear capes. Some don't carry badges. Some simply stand between darkness and the innocent. And sometimes the bravest one in the room walks on 4 paws. Rex didn't just protect a little girl in that courtroom. He became her voice when fear silenced her, her shield when danger threatened her, and her courage when the world felt too terrifying to face. This is the power of loyalty. This is the power of trust. This is what happens when a trained canine officer recognizes a child's silent cry for help and refuses to let evil win. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that justice can still prevail, and if you believe that every child deserves a protector like Rex, then please like this video and share it with everyone who needs to see what true heroism looks like. Subscribe to Fur and Feather Tales for more incredible stories of courage, loyalty, and the animals who risk everything to protect the innocent. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story that matters. And tell us in the comments, have you ever witnessed a moment where an animal sensed danger before humans did? Do you believe dogs have a 6th sense when it comes to protecting children? We want to hear your stories. Drop A if you stand with victims who find the courage to speak their truth. Drop A if you believe canine officers are unsung heroes. And drop A if this story reminded you that even the smallest voice deserves to be heard. Remember, every subscription helps us share more stories of bravery, justice, and the incredible bond between humans and animals. Thank you for being part of this journey. Stay safe, stay brave, and never underestimate the power of a loyal heart.